Greetings, everyone. This is Saseo the Terror of Death 99, aka the Black Cobra. And I'm officially back with Phoenix Wright Dual Destinies. Now, okay, time for a little recap. Now, we officially finished our first part of the investigation with the murder of the Ninetales. As I mentioned last time, we also found out that Jinxie's father was actually accused of committing the murder, which personally I don't buy at all. What we also found out is that there was actually a blackmail letter. The alderman was actually he actually received a threatening letter. Here is what it had to say. If you value your dearest to life, you will merge Ninetales Vale with Tenma. Do not tell anyone about this threat. If you do, consider your dearest as good as dead. Now, there are several things we actually figured out, but there are also some things we don't know. Main things we don't know are, 1, who actually committed the murder, 2, who actually wrote the blackmail letter, and 3, what was the motive behind both crimes, the blackmail and the murder. What we also found out that Jinxie's father was actually drugged and was actually hit in the head with this statue. As you can see, his blood is on it. Let's see what we have here. The statue has traces of blood from the defendant, Damien Tenma, on it. It was apparently wrapped in a large cloth on which the defendant's blood was also found. No fingerprints could be lifted from the cloth. The only way that could actually happen was if the killer was actually wearing gloves. That's the only way that no fingerprints would have actually been found on the cloth. Now, what we also have is we finally found the QB's autopsy report. Cause of death: stabbed with a spear. Estimated time of death around 3:20 p.m. The victim had been in a drug-induced slumber. Another thing we also found out that the Nine-Tailed Fox was a former pro wrestler. The final thing we also found out was this. Tamataro was actually caught on camera. An airborne figure resembling Tamataro was captured on camera around 3:40 p.m. near a Ninetales Vale. Tamataro, real or flight of fancy? Anyway, Okay, let's continue with the case. When we last left off, we were actually questioning Phineas Filch. He was actually the guardsman at the manor. Personally, I think he's actually lying. I wouldn't rule it out. Especially since he's actually confirmed to be a thief. Now, if I could just zero in on a tell, some sort of nervous habit. Let's take a look. The nervous habit looks like he's shaking his hands. Whoa! What the? What the hell? God damn you, Prosecutor Blackwell. Ay. I won't be able to spot squat like this. Prosecutor Blackwell, you will ensure your feathered friend is properly fed. Seems so, Athena. Let's do this the old-fashioned way. We'll be fine. If there was someone dressed as Temataro there, Filch would have noticed him. We just had to put our faith in Jinxie's statement for now. Very well, Your Honor. Cross-examination. Here we go. Guarding the foyer. Let's see, At the time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer. Just like Mr. Kyubi asked. I'm not buying it. I was making sure no one, fair, foul, fishy, or otherwise, could get to our guest. I was still in my office keeping a good watch when the murder happened after 3 p.m. I'm not buying it. No. I'm not buying it. He's lying.
Objection!
Objection, Your Honor. Don't lie to the court like that, Mr. Filch. Unfortunately for you, I have evidence that proves you're lying. If you look at this TV listing here, you'll see at the time of the crime, there was a pro wrestling match scheduled, something you would never miss. I was doing my job just like I was supposed to. I'm not buying it. This guy doesn't know when to give up. Mr. Filch, someone even circled the match. It was you, right? Not only that, you even told me you watched it. You said, and I quote, "It was a complete disaster." So, do you admit to slacking off? Ay. That's not easy to do. I would assume it's possible, but it's very difficult to do. Keeping double duty, watching TV, and the foyer at the same time? Considering his office is near the foyer, I would assume that would be possible, but if he was watching the match, then I don't buy it. The only thing Filch can claim to be a professional of his professional thief. Yes, Your Honor? Yes, Your Honor. I would have this court believe that the witness was slacking off. That is correct. He claims to have been watching TV and the foyer at the same time. But that's nothing but a bald-faced lie. Or speaking figuratively, Your Honor. I apologize for that. Yes. Gladly, Your Honor. Claim Mr. Filch is lying about watching TV and the foyer simultaneously. Now prove it. Gladly, Your Honor. Right here. In fact, take a look at this, everyone. The television is right there, and the foyer is right there. That would be absolutely impossible for him to be actually watching both things at once. I'm not buying it.
Take that!
Take that. Please take a look at the direction the television is facing in this diagram. Now, unless Mr. Filch has eyes on the back, where his right ear should be, or on the back of his head for that matter, I would think it would be impossible to watch the foyer entrance and the television at the same time. Exactly, Your Honor. And that means, Mr. Filch, you were slacking off and not watching the foyer as you claim. Yes, Your Honor, it is. Mr. Filch's less than stellar work ethic is relevant to this case. It's very relevant, Your Honor, because while he was slacking off watching television, there really could have been a Tenmataro impersonator in the foyer.
Objection!
What now? Prosecutor Blackwell. What? The hell are you talking about, Prosecutor Blackwell? What? He does have a point there. Auditory sense. He does have a point. It's possible he could have heard the Tamataro in the foyer, even if he was actually watching television. His eyes might have been slacking off, but his ears were still at work. You already admitted to slacking off, Mr. Filch. Now you say you weren't? I'm not buying it. Now, one thing I should mention is a little personal thing. Most of the time when I'm actually watching television at night, usually what I'll do is I'll keep the sound low, just in case something were to happen. I always keep the sound low when I'm not gaming. That way I can actually keep track of what's going on. Anyway, let's continue. My eyes might be lazy, but my ears aren't. I would have heard anyone in the foyer. See, the foyer floor and stairway got... Ah! That's a good point. Creaky squeaky. So you're saying you didn't hear anybody walk by? I apologize for that, everyone. I was just uploading. I was just downloading a Rocket League update. I might be getting back to Rocket League most likely a little bit. If I don't do it today, it's most likely gonna be tomorrow. And so I'll be watching the NBA draft tonight. 8 o'clock it starts, in case you need to know. Let's see. My ears are working full time, so who's the liar now? You good, no good shyster. A lying thief calling me a shyster. This has to be the low point of his fledgling career. What? The witness will henceforth testify truthfully under penalty of painful bird attacks. And with that in mind, the court requests that the witness revise his testimony accordingly. Ears working overtime. It's true, I was watching a pro wrestling match on the office television. My eyes might have been socking up, on my ears, they were working overtime. The floor there's squeaky squeaky like. No way I would have missed something, someone walking by. So you see, there was no Temataro in the foyer. One moment, everyone. I'm getting absolutely sick of these goddamn bullshit calls. Third time this week, I've actually been interrupted while recording by these bullshit calls. I apologize for that, everyone. Superstition is the religion of feeble minds. A simple, rational explanation is best. Forget yokai, demons, and such. Yes, I'm aware of that, Prosecutor Blackwell. Says the convicted prosecutor who is totally a sign at the end times for the legal world. I wonder whether Jinxie was just seeing things. That's a good point there, Athena. That seems to be the general consensus, but I'm sticking to my guns. That's a good point there, Athena. Gladly, Your Honor. I will cross-examine him. So I know this supposed thief happens to be a huge liar. Hold it. So you have pretty good ears, Mr. Filch. Sure about that? Jingle jangle. That's what Jinxie said. Staff of his. staff that makes noise. That's very true, Athena. She did mention that. She said she saw Temataro holding a staff-like object and made a jangly sound. I don't think he was actually carrying a staff. Take a look at the Tamataro's chest. I might be wrong about this, but those actually look like some kind of bells or something. I guess it's the source of the noise then. Yes, I would. I would consider it vital information. The thing we don't know, though, is what exactly was making that sound. Extremely vital. I request that it be added to his testimony. Tamataro was to pass by the staff with a gun, jingle jangle. Something doesn't fit. Wait a sec. Right there. See, the sole document showing what Temataro looks like. It seems those who foolishly choose to depict the demon as cursed.
Objection!
Objection, Your Honor. Temataro's staff would make a jangly sound, you say? Well, I'm going to say that your story does not add up. Gladly, Your Honor. Mr. Filch, you say that you didn't see Tamataro on the day of the incident. Why then did you assume just now that Tamataro was holding a staff? You see, the Tamataro Jixi saw held a staff in his hands. And she described its sound just like you did, as a kind of jangly sound.
Objection!
Objection, Your Honor. The point is that Tamataro does not use a staff, not normally. You see, it is the only known document depicting Tamataro. Is there a staff in the picture, Mr. Filch? Exactly. No staff, not even a cane or a walking stick. I believe the answer will overturn the prosecution's case on the most basic level. Gladly, Your Honor. Hmm. Something does not fit. Mr. Filch actually saw Tamataro right after the crime occurred. That's the only way he could have possibly known about the staff. How does that feel, Prosecutor Blackwell? Not so fun when you're on the receiving end of the blade, is it? Admit it, Mr. Filch. You did see Tamataro that day, didn't you? Well... Clearly you did see Tamataro. Stop stalling and testify to the facts. He? Mr. Filch still won't admit to seeing Tamataro, even though everyone knows he did. The question now is why. I think I know the reason why. Somebody told him to stay quiet. Somebody told him not to admit it. You see, you must not gaze upon Tamataro, but in the event that you do look, and then tell anyone what you saw, Tamataro will claim your soul. Wait, you think Filch believes that too? No, I do not. I don't believe in that stuff. Gladly, Your Honor. The people of Ninetails Vale believe some pretty strange things. And their superstitions may be the reason our witness here cannot admit the truth. The truth that he really did see Tamataro. Village superstitions. Do not gaze upon Tamataro. Do not tell others if you see him. Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul. There is, however, one way to save it. Your immediate departure from the village. Freeing him will bring ruin upon the village. Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul? I don't buy it. That clears up one mystery. The killer took advantage of the superstitions by wearing a Tamataro costume. They knew that way no one could talk about him, so it was as if he never existed. The defense holds that this Tamataro impersonator is a true killer.
Objection!
Sad thing is, a lot of people believe this garbage. I myself do not. One moment, please.
Objection!
Objection, Your Honor. Your common sense seems awfully narrow-minded to me, Prosecutor Blackwell.
Objection!
I'll pass on that there, Prosecutor Blackwell.
Objection!
Objection, Your Honor. Well, the village superstitions are real enough to the people in Nine Tails Vale. A life or death superstition that might make even you a believer. Bailiff, what are you waiting for? Go after him and with your fastest men. Indeed, Your Honor. A third party disguised as the yokai Tenmataro was at the scene. And now we have two witnesses who can attest to that fact. Any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell? Well?
Objection!
Objection, Your Honor. What?
Silence!
That is very true, Prosecutor Blackwell. And I will prove it. And that yokai Or rather, whoever was impersonating him killed Automatic Kyuubi.
Silence!
Gladly, Prosecutor Blackwell. He's right. She said nothing about Tamataro being in the Fox Chamber. Then enlighten us, then, Prosecutor Blackwell. And your point is? And I'm supposed to buy that how? No. That's very true, Your Honor. She wouldn't mention any third party that might have been in the room. Why didn't she see Tamataro inside the Fox Chamber? Gladly, Prosecutor Blackwell. Sure about that, Prosecutor Blackwell? Fine. Yes, Prosecutor Simon Blackwell is British, in case you haven't figured that out. I disagree there, Athena. Doesn't bode well for us if the prosecutor is running the show, does it? Main problem, though, is that he is not. Yeah, what was that all about? Guessing they make shackles like they used to. What's with this guy and the whole samurai act, anyway? Yes, Mayor Tenma? What? Let's save the dueling until after we prove your innocence. Does anyone remember we're conducting a trial here? Athena. I will go wash up. I know that, Athena. Now then, I believe our next witness is Miss Jinxie Tenma, a maid at Kyubi Manor, and the daughter of Mayor Damien Tenma. I believe we can proceed now, if the witness is ready, that is. What? Okay. What the hell is up with her? This bizarre, strange young woman. The witness will show her face while in court, or her testimony will be inadmissible. Demon of due process. Not sure I could see that one. Prosecutor Blackwell. She is not a scamp. She is a young woman. Okay. I did say this was going to be one hell of a bizarre case, and I was not kidding either. Agreed there, Athena. Looks like Prosecutor Blackwell did get more than he bargained for. They're bad enough alone, but together, those two are just plain creepy. Your testimony, if you please, Miss Tenma. Specifically, whether or not you saw Tenma Taro when you discovered the crime scene. What Jinxie saw. So there was a yokai at the scene of the crime? What? not buying it. Wait, when the one yokai, did Temataro happen to be among them? I know exactly what she's talking about. She's referring to the police. Yes, Prosecutor Blackwell.
Hold it!
Hold it. Your Honor, I believe her memory is simply clouded by fear. But a quick therapy session should ease her mind. With the court's permission, of course. You sure you know what you're doing, Athena? She's obviously not herself. The trauma of discovering that crime scene and fear of testifying has her dazed and confused. A regular ball of confusion. Analytical, psychological-based approach should be able to help. Any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell? Shall we let Miss Sykes proceed? Very well. Everyone, this is known as the Mood Matrix. From what I'm aware of, this only appears in the fourth Phoenix Wright game, which of course is the game I'm playing right now. This is Phoenix Wright Dual Destinies. Did I see Temataro in the Fox Chamber? When I opened the door, I saw it. An out of control emotion. Athena, what exactly are we looking at here? One of which its functions. Right here you can see images and emotions extracted from the witness's voice. here I thought it was just a kid's toy. Overflow error. Yes. She's under an uncontrollable amount of distress, which is masking her other emotions. Seems the sheer terror she experienced has made her a confused mess. So all those yokai she thinks she saw are a product of rampant emotions? Fear is instilled in her hallucinations and false memories. I thought so. She's seeing normal, everyday objects as monsters in her mind. Schizophrenic hallucination brought on by emotional trauma. And the trauma in Jinx's case is fear. So she was, and still is, seeing ordinary objects as yokai. Or to find the root cause of her extreme fear before I can treat it. Let's see. I see it. Seems particularly terrified of that one. Yes, I can see it. Probe. Next, point to what's causing Jinxie's out-of-control emotion. Finally, hit probe again to try and get to the heart of the matter. Have here. Let's give this a try. Got it. Jinxie. What's the name for that yokai on a wheel of fire? A yokai that steals the bodies of the recently deceased. Akasha. It's almost creepy how well it fits the actual situation. It's a form of hallucination where the patient can't see things for what they are. There must be something at the scene of the crime that she's mistaking for Akasha. I think I know the answer now. Jinxie, that wasn't Akasha you saw. Bingo. Jinxie, could you have possibly mistaken this for Akasha?
Take that!
The light fixture? Indeed. This one right here, it has a flame design and is up there on the ceiling. There was never a yokai on a wheel of fire. The Akasha you saw was just a light fixture. Jinxie, what about this whole white wall-like monster? A wall monster that blocks your way or leads you astray. It's no yokai, Jinxie. It's a folding screen. And this raccoon dog is not a tanuki monster, it's just a statue of one. And look, those are just coffee cups, and this right here is nothing more than a fox statue. Bingo! It was her eyes playing tricks on her. There weren't any yokai after all. Just as we thought. There never were any yokai in the fox chamber. Yes. Wait. Jinxie, what about Tamataro? unexpected emotion. Does that mean Jinxie hasn't remembered everything yet? Should be able to get something else out of her. A surprise.
Got it!
Seems like an unnatural reaction. Got it.
Got it!
Damn. I screwed up.
Got it!
Damn it. I screwed up.
Got it!
Got it. The amount of fear you felt is rather low, despite your legs having given out from fright. Could something have lessened your fear? You did? Where did it come from? Jinxie's mother. She felt that her mother was with her at the time. Jinxie seems to have remembered everything now. A sudden burst of courage. Now where could that have come from? Jinxie. Was there something that gave you a sudden burst of courage? There is one piece of evidence that comes to mind. What if she saw something like it at the scene of the crime? Bingo. The Nine-Tails flower.
Take that!
Jinxie, you didn't happen to see a Nine-Tails flower there at the scene, did you? Found a small case with a picture of a Nine-Tails flower on it. I liked so much I kept it. What? You can't remove evidence from a crime scene? Now, the witness will produce said evidence this instant. It's a key. Bingo. That's the master key to Kyubi Manor. Matches the serial number of the key that went missing after the murder. That's a little melodramatic, don't you think? Sole key to the Fox Chamber has been this little scam's constant possession. Ergo, she was the sole person who could have had it but used it before, during, and after the murder. Which leaves the master key as the only other key that could have opened the chamber. But this master key was found in a room that had been locked by this girl. And your point is, Prosecutor Blackwell? Until Jinxie Tenma opened the Fox Chamber with her key, the room had been locked tight from the outside world. And there was no one else in there save the victim and his killer. Yes, I'm aware of that. Prosecutor Blackwell. No. No. I'm not buying it. Objection, Your Honor. Settle down there, Athena. Inevitable guilty verdict? I think not. Oh, he's not gonna fool us with his stupid mind games. Athena, don't fall for his tricks. She fell right into his trap. No. Sure about that, Prosecutor Blackwell?
Objection!
Objection, Your Honor. Stay with me, Athena. Don't let yourself be twisted by that evil samurai. Or whatever the hell he is. That objection was more of a reflex than anything else. Though I was hoping something would come to me while I was trying to stop Athena. Yes, I do, Your Honor. I have to explain how the real killer could have escaped that locked room. Because it's all over if I don't. Already doing that, Athena. Or in that case, inside the box. And what a doozy that locked room is, too. Yes, I do, Your Honor. The real killer must have escaped from the locked room in one way or another. They conjecture? I think not. Gladly, Your Honor. Yes, Athena, I can. We just need to think this whole escaping a locked room thing over from the beginning. Let's see. If the killer had escaped, how could they have done so? And I think I know exactly how he did so. This. The room has a window, but it doesn't open wide enough for anyone to get through. And there's a sheer cliff outside. As for the air vent, it's up too high, and there's nothing you can stand on to reach it. And needless to say, the forbidden chamber wouldn't open no matter what we did, so that's out. Yeah, that's why we gotta keep the solution simple. Like they say, simple is best. We need to rule out all the absolutely impossible escape routes. Then whatever's left just might lead us to how the Fox Chamber was compromised. Bingo. Your Honor, the defense proposes that the killer escape through here.
Take that!
Bingo. Exactly. I could understand if the killer had exited the room with the key. However, gladly, Your Honor. Bingo. Oh, you're not getting to me, Prosecutor Blackquill. The reason the Fox Chamber's hallway door was locked was because the perp locked it from outside. What if the room was locked from the outside? In other words, the killer took the key through the hallway door, then locked it from the outside. Yes, I'm aware of that, Prosecutor Blackquill. That wasn't the only key, though. I know that, Athena. Such as how the key could be inside the room and be used to lock the door from outside. Gladly, Your Honor. In fact, it's actually a lot easier than you think. How can the master key be at the crime scene despite the room being locked tight? Simple. The perp threw it in from outside. What if someone threw it into the room from outside? You know? Something like go out the hallway door, lock the room, and then toss the key back in through the window. That would explain how the master key could be inside the locked room. I'm aware of that, Prosecutor Blackwell. That is not an impossibility. Bingo. Could the key have been tossed in to somewhere other than the window? I would assume the air ducts. Bingo. Right here. Bingo, the air vent. Yes. The window may be out of the question, but the air vent is not. Exactly, Athena. The Fox Chamber's air duct leads out into the hallway. That's right. The real killer entered the air duct from the vent outside the Fox Chamber, then dropped the key into the room through the vent inside the chamber. Gotcha, Blackwell. Sure about that? Exactly. It explains how the key got in there after it was used to lock the door perfectly. Don't worry. I'll explain it so even Your Honor can understand. First, the real killer, disguised as Tenmataro, murdered the alderman in the Fox Chamber. Then they fled the room through the hallway door and locked it. Next, they entered the air duct from the vent outside in the hallway. Finally, the killer tossed the key into the room through the air vent in the ceiling there. All that was left to do after that was go back through the air duct and flee the manor. Well, Your Honor, could that be any clearer? That explains everything. The real killer was someone dressed up like Tenataro. And there was someone else other than the mayor and the alderman in that room. Now that I've proved a possible third party, I don't see how our client could be guilty.
Silence!
Sure about that? Sure about sure about that, Prosecutor Blackwell? I'm not buying it. Want to throw some mischief to Mark? Nope. Nope. No, they did not. That's impossible. Because of this. Right there. This security camera. Bingo! Here's a little interesting fact, though. What if the impersonator of Tenataro did not exit through the foyer? In fact, what if the murderer did not even leave the manor? Yes, I'm aware of that, Prosecutor Blackwell. I'm aware of that, Prosecutor Blackwell. Save for the foyer entrance, there is no other way to flee the manor, is there? Yes, I'm aware of that.
Hold it!
Hold it! I believe there is one other way to escape besides the foyer entrance. There is a large window in the foyer. It's possible to escape through there without being seen by the security camera. Exactly.
Silence!
No, you do not, Prosecutor Blackwell, because I already know about it. Sure about that? Yes, I'm aware of that, Prosecutor Blackwell. How would they actually explain this then? Right there. Exactly. No need to worry, Athena. Because we already do. We already do have evidence that would point to a flying killer. Who's saying we don't? Exactly. Gladly, Your Honor. Right over here, Your Honor.
Take that!
Take a look at the special edition paper. Tenmataro, Real or Flight of Fancy? Bingo. What does it prove? The photo in that article was taken shortly after the murder. Maybe the yokai in that photo is the killer shortly after they fled out of the window. Oh, I'm serious. It all adds up as well. The killer disguised as Tenmataro flew away, by some other way.
Silence!
Some way or another. Oh, you're not getting to me, Prosecutor Blackquill. Okay, then. How about the Tenmataro figure, Mr. Filch saw? It just vanished into thin air? I think not. Nope. What? He's gonna put the blame on Jinxie. And I'm not buying it. Nope. Yes, I do, Prosecutor Blackquill. And it also means that Jinxie would not have committed the murder. Mainly because she is too weak to actually lift that spear. And she would never attack her own father. I disagree. I don't buy it. In fact, I already know who the killer is. Nope. I disagree. Nope. it. Ah, there's Mayor Tenma. Tenma Taro's true identity is... Yes, I'm aware of that, Prosecutor Blackquill. Nope. Mr. Tenma, no. Do not fall for his twisted words. If you're sent away from murder, Jinxie will be left alone. Oh, I know who the real killer is, and it is not Mayor Tenma or his daughter. There's actually one person who actually did not have a motive. I should say, did not have an alibi, but did have a motive. And in fact, I'm about to show you who it is. Right there. The real killer is right here. Florence LaBelle. And in fact, you're going to find out what I was talking about very shortly. Buying it. He's lying. Nope. sure about that, Prosecutor Blackwell? Yes, I'm aware of that. Nope. No, it is not. Mayor Tenma. How so, Prosecutor Blackwell? Fine then.
Objection!
Objection, Your Honor. You actually think anyone's gonna buy that garbage? When we arrived on the scene, the mayor was already unconscious. How is that possible if we were supposed to have flown out the flare window? No, I do not, Prosecutor Blackwell. No, he is not. Simon says on steroids. That's something I am not going to believe. Because I already know who the real killer is. The proverbial ducks are all in a row. You should now have no qualms about finding the accused guilty, Your Honor. I disagree. Nope. Nope.
Objection!
Objection, Your Honor. Mayor Tenma is just pretending to be Tenmataro to protect his daughter. Plus, I have already proved how a third party could have escaped from the locked room. A verdict at this point would be premature.
Silence!
It's but a ploy to game time for them to fabricate evidence. Nope.
Objection!
Objection, Your Honor. I will not fabricate any evidence.
Silence!
Oh, I'll prove it, but I ain't gonna join you, Prosecutor Blackquill. No, he is not. Prosecutor Blackquill, we've had enough of your hijinks. The foundation of justice is fair play, and you are in serious violation of that. A bit late with the reassurance, aren't we, Detective? Very well, Your Honor. Oh, we're not done yet, everyone. We are not done yet. And neither am I. I'm Tamataro, the yokai you seek. He didn't. What about the investigation? Ah, it's Trucy. For any of you who are not familiar with the Phoenix Wright games, Trucy is Phoenix Wright's adopted daughter. I was seriously considering a disappearing act of my own after all that craziness. Anyway, our next trick is to find a suspect other than the mayor. I know the kill must have used the air duct in their escape. Whoever did that was the Tamataro that Mr. Filch and Jinxie saw. Right. Maybe there's some evidence in the air ducts. Indeed. Wonder where all that stuff goes. Detective Fulbright, mind if we search the air ducts? Well, a sense of justice has been beaten to a pulp. It'll probably take a while for him to recover. The air duct is the key. We know the Tamataro impersonator used it to make an escape. After murdering the alderman, the killer left the fox chamber through the hallway door. Then after locking the door from the outside, the killer entered the air duct in the hallway. Finally, the killer dropped the key into the fox chamber through the air vent here, then went back through the duct and fled the manor. That's how the illusion of no one entering or leaving the locked room was created. The main thing we don't know is how did he actually escape without getting caught by the security camera. The only thing I can think of would be that other window, the one in the foyer. Here's our van. It's awfully high up. Step ladder. Very well. How nice of her to volunteer me for the job. Oh, here goes nothing. There's a thick layer of dust in here. I don't get it. Yeah, dust. Lots of dust. You know, dust collects on something when nobody uses it for a long time. Right. Think it's possible to crawl over that sort of dust without leaving a trail? Bingo! Exactly. Kinda looks that way. If we don't turn things around quickly... know. How about some information on the investigation? We need some help here. Fine, fine. I can't believe Prosecutor Blackwell would stoop that low. He really wants a conviction at all costs. Honest to God, he reminds me no better than Miles Edgeworth. I am writing a self-reflective essay as we speak. I doubt that'll teach him anything. He'll probably just write it dotard 1,000 times. What? Prosecutor Blackwell believes Jinxie Tenma planted that yokai stuff? I don't buy it. No. What? That's a staff. That isn't the staff Temitaro was supposedly carrying, is it? Miss Tenma, no doubt, tossed it over the cliff when she was done. Well, Prince or no Prince, it's not gonna work in our favor. Sounds like the staff might have belonged to the mansion. But if that's the case, then where in the mansion did Temitaro get it from? Did Prosecutor Blackwell finally figure out that the victim was the Amazing Ninetales? Figured it out while investigating the municipal merger and the victim's past. The Amazing Ninetales sparked the yokai craze and it worked against the merger. And Mayor Damien Tenma is a corrupt politician and murdered the great hero. What? I don't buy it. Amazing Ninetales fans are so angry they even tried to storm the detention center. Speaking of which, isn't Jinxie also a fan of the Amazing Ninetales? That is very true. To have your mask torn off is the worst humiliation a wrestler can suffer. That would be mainly Lucha Libre. She spoke of with a passion that only a fan could appreciate. No. Did you forget, Athena, did you forget that Mayor Tenma is not only Jinxie's father, but also a client? Yes, I'm aware of that, Detective Fulbright. Are there any other new developments we should know, Detective Fulbright? You did? What'd he say? I wonder what Mayor Tenma remembered. Oh, we'll see about that. How about regrouping back at the agency? Maybe I'll go read over some past cases. How should I put this? It's like we're at the edge of a cliff and the only way is down. Yeah, I suppose so. Except this time, it's like we're bound gagged too. Ah, Mr. Wright. Really, what happened? Yeah, well, we just found out that our reasoning might be a tad flawed. Everyone, I'm done for now. Might come back a little bit later, but most likely I'm not going to. Nail this in the draft. I'll probably end up continuing this case tomorrow. We'll see. Hopefully we'll be able to finish up this monster of a case either tomorrow or Friday. Until next time, everyone, this has been Sale of the Terror Death 99, aka the Black Cobra, and I will catch you all next time.